We didn't go in with a game plan for that. We went into a game plan. You got to give guys opportunities. You got to play players in certain situations. You got to play players against other players. You got to play players at times with your own players. Just as, again, you're in this to win hockey games, but there's also a lot of growing and a lot of different things that you're trying to accomplish in a game.
You said the other day that, especially after the Johnson fight on Sunday, that you didn't want the guys to get hurt. Did it worry you at all when you saw Reichel get in the fight there in the third?
Were
you a little worried that he would get hurt in the third?
No. I wasn't worried about Jack, getting hurt. Right. It's just, the time of it. And Kirby's a guy who's fighting for a spot on the team. It's a lot different than Jack. Jack's an established NHL player, and he's one of our main guys on this team. And again, I'm not trying to downplay or my emphasis on Kirby. You're always worried about your guys. You don't want them getting hurt. But here's a young guy who's trying to make the hockey team. So to me, it's a little bit different.
Todd, you've got a lot of guys fighting for whatever spots might be open. Was this a night when Michael Chaput kind of put his hand up and reminded us that he's there too, and he's one of those guys?
It's a real good point by you, because it seems like all this talk has been about the first round picks that are coming through, and Wenberg's gotten the spotlight kind of shined on him, and the coaches that were in Carolina when they came back talked about Chaput's game in Carolina and liked his game. And this was, he came up last year and he was actually good for us when he got recalled. And then, just like a lot of those young players, when they first get that recall, it's their game spikes and it's tough to keep it up there. And it started to drop a little bit, and so he's a guy that's kind of flown under the radar. But you watch him play tonight, and he put himself right on the map.
Todd, when you had Chaput up here last year, I think he had 15, 16 games or so, mostly in a checking or a fourth-line role here. You wanted to see him in a scoring capacity? Is that why he was with Atkinson and Reichel? Just a different...
No, not necessarily. I'm just trying to balance lines, try to put players with other players just to see. Again, it's a lot of the different tests and observations that you're trying to see. Can they play against other NHL opponents? Can they? How do they match up with their speed? Can they skate? Cam's a quick player. Can he keep up with the speed of Cam? So you're looking at a lot of different things when you're making combinations.
Coach, any improvements that you've seen in Cam's game?
In Cam's game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's finishing, but that's something that he's done in the past. Again, with Cam, when he's going, it's all about his speed and his quickness, and it's evident. You guys see it probably from up top. We see the same thing at ice level. He's having impact. He's got the puck on his stick, or the puck's around him, and then he creates some separation with his speed and quickness, and he did that on Chappie's goal.
Bob, what have you seen so far in this camp from Forsberg and Dansk, your AHL guys?
I haven't had a chance to see Forsberg live yet because he was in Carolina. Oscar, he came in a situation the last game. You give up against St. Louis. He gives up a goal on the first shot, and then they score another one on a, kind of bank it in off him from the side of the net. And you feel for him, a young kid that's battling hard, especially this situation. Not easy to come in with no warm-up. But I really liked the way he competed. To me, it said a lot about his mentality. As goaltenders, you got to be able to put plays behind you. And again, he comes in a tough situation tonight, 1-0 game against a team that is, we spent too much time in our own zone. We still did some decent things there, but we have to get a lot better. But he made some big saves for us in the third.
I know it's preseason and these rosters are going to be drastically different come regular season for both teams, but it seemed chippy out there. And is this just what we should expect every time the Jackets and Penguins get out there?
Emotion started to play a part in this game. You could feel it on the bench. A couple hits, a couple plays. So it started to get amped up a little bit, and based on past history, and I'm just talking about last year, it kind of felt like there was a little bit of hatred both ways.
Tonight was the first night with Hartnell wearing the Blue Jackets uniform. What you expected with him as far as maybe getting under their skin a little bit?
I think there's still a lot to see from Scott Hartnell, and how he. And again, I'm not saying he was bad by any means. His first game coming in, he made some really good offensive plays, and there were some little subtle defensive plays that he made. So he's an experienced guy. I think once we get into it, this was his first game along with a couple other guys. I think once we get into it, again, you'll start to see those emotions, especially when we play the Pittsburghs and the Philadelphias and the New York teams.